All right, so let's get back at it. Here's our cheat sheet from last week, kind of what we did and what we got left to do. Guess I should move the mic here, hold on. There we go, that's probably a little better. So here's our cheat sheet, all the items we want to do. You can see we've worked through quite a few of them. I was thinking about EFS and how to use it, and we had the discussion last week about config files and stuff like that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up an S3 bucket to do that. And in that S3 bucket, we'll have logging. We haven't put a load balancer in yet, but we'll need a load balancer at some point. Load balancing supports logging, so we need a destination for that. And I thought we could put our config files in here. We've got to think about maybe a WP config file that we want to pull down dynamically. I don't know if that's really necessary or not, because it's not going to change, right? We could bake that into the machine image if we wanted. But then we've got the Apache config, which I think we could bake it into the AMI if we wanted, but I kind of wanted to just demonstrate that we can manage this somewhere else. And then when a machine comes to life in the auto scaling, when we set that up, we can run the user data script to pull it down. So that's kind of the way I'm thinking. I don't know where we'll land here, but just a couple other things to think about. Turn the volume of this down a bit more. There we go. All right, so I think what we'll do is we will start by creating this S3 bucket. And we'll just, we'll borrow from the beginning of this, because this will be the same every time. Let's grab the docs for this. All right, so let's get this set up. We'll just call it bucket 0. All right, so let's see what we got here. We definitely want encryption. So we'll get this set up. I'm not going to try to type that because I would definitely type it wrong. Whoops. What do we got to do here? Bucket key enabled. We'll add that later. And this will be, we're going to use a KMS key. So I think it's just, yeah, AWS KMS. All right, so that's the first part. We're going to let CloudFormation name the bucket for us, tiering, inventory. We do want lifecycle configuration. Couple rules. I'm going to put this at the top because we need the ID. And what I'm thinking here is I'm thinking about using different prefixes. So if we go back here, like I'm thinking this could be just like, we could do logs and then like conf or something like that. I want to age these over time, and for what we're going to do, we'll set it like I don't know, we'll set it for 30 days. I don't think it really matters. Sorry, I'm going to change the category here. Give me a sec. So we'll change it for like 30 days or something like that. Nothing too long. And this, we obviously don't want that to expire. So we'll leave, basically need, I guess we just need for now a single rule on this prefix. All right, so expiration date indicates when objects are deleted from S3 in Glacier. Yeah, I want to do expiration in days, not dates. And I'll just do the same thing we always do. We'll put a placeholder, we'll come back. Remove a delete marker without any non-convergence. So we're not gonna enable versioning on this. I guess versioning might make sense in this bucket as I think about it. If we wanted to have multiple, basically remember versioning will keep multiple copies of the same object, like the key, right? So protect yourself against accidentally deleting something or accidentally overwriting something. I might consider doing that in a production environment. I don't know if it makes sense to do it here. I think we're just going to leave it basic. Non-current. Okay, so prefix here. We don't want to apply this to everything, so we'll just put another to-do in here. And then we need a status enabled. Tags to identify a subset. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Tags. I'm creating an S3 bucket for some logging. I think that's really all we need for lifecycle. Go through the rest of the list. Logging. So logging would allow us to create a log for anything that accesses this bucket. That might actually make sense. Because we've got config files and stuff. Let's see, can we do a log config? Yeah, so we could prefix this into a single S3 bucket. We might come back to that later. Let me add it on the list. We'll add it to the optional thing here if we're still interested in working on this at some point. Hey, it's good to hear that things are going well. Ownership. We definitely want to block public access on the bucket, just to make sure nothing in here needs to be accessible. I think we have this set at the account level too, but I think it's a good idea to add it just in case. So we want to set these blocks up on everything. This up here, let's go true. Did you get the bees wrapped up for the season, or are you holding on a little longer? So that's an easy one. Tags. So we'll do our standard set of tags here. Oh, you see what I've done? Okay, I've got all these in one, so we got to go like that. And we'll have these somewhere else, so I'm just going to borrow them. Our standard tags. So that's our bucket. We need a couple things added here. So let's do this. I think we can pass this as a string, but we should probably pass it as a number if that's what they're after. Let's see. Expiration in days, that's not what I want. Life cycle. Yeah, it's starting to feel cool here too at night now. Yeah, they're wanting an integer here, so... So... There's a type definition here somewhere. There we go. Number. It makes sense, right? Number. And then we'll go down here and say... And then we'll do the same thing. We'll say ref. We'll just say prefix. I think it's good enough. Okay. And then the other thing we need is the key ID. Yeah, I was just thinking about, Kevin, what you said there. I always never quite knew when to wrap things up at the end of the year. It's always a bit of a crapshoot, right? So we're going to do this. KMS stack. There we go. And we've got our KMS stack here. And I'm going to borrow somewhere we have an import statement. This is what I want right here. Okay, so we want to go back here. And this is going to be KMS stack, and they want the ID. I think we can use the ID or the ARN here. Doesn't really matter. We will use the key ARN right here. Let's check, actually, now that I say that. Second guess myself. I gotta change the playlist here. I don't know what this one is. I didn't pick a good one. We're only, what, 16 minutes in? And I'm annoyed. So let's get rid of the... I think we did the cottage... Okay, we're going 80s rock. There we go. I don't know what that was we were listening to. Yeah, they're might as well leverage somebody else, right? If you can, you're learning. It's a safe bet. Oops. So I want to copy this. There we go. Okay. So I think that's all we really need. We've got bucket encryption, we've got lifecycle, block public access, and tags. We also want to put a bucket policy in here. So let's do that. Is it bucket policy? Yeah, just bucket policy. And this depends on bucket 0. And we're going to do something really simple here. So bucket, we just want to refer to bucket 0. And then we just need our policy document. All right, so what we want to say is version, standard version. And we want to say statement. Isn't it weird? Alexa, stop. Isn't it funny how your brain sometimes can't remember stuff? Yeah, you're right. We're not hip and cool. Yeah, you got it. I go back to the stuff that I grew up with, I guess, right? I try my best. I do like some electronic music, but yeah, that one wasn't working for me tonight. Each of those tags are required up here. These 48 through 55. Those are the ones you're talking about? think what we want to do here is go S3. I want to basically. I don't like the way this is. Yeah, see, this is what's messing me up. I want to say effect is deny action S3. I think we want to put this in single quotes. We're gonna basically deny all S3 actions. Okay. Okay. Since this is a bucket policy, it's an example of a resource policy, so I'm gonna apply this to everybody. So we'll say star again. And then what we want to do here is we basically want to say if you're not using a secure transport, SSL, you're not allowed to talk to the S3 bucket. That's what we're doing. Okay. Yeah, they're not required. It's just a way to add some metadata. Tell us a little bit about, you know, in this case, we always use the owner email, an environment, you know, production, development, those types of things. And then project is something that we've done for a bit of time. It's a way that we tie basically a resource back to a GitLab project. So if we go and we look here, WordPress Twitch. Okay, so now I can go and I can find that very quickly in our GitLab environment. Because sometimes you end up with a lot of stuff in here, and as it goes, I find it harder and harder to actually find what you're looking for. So that's why we do that, but definitely not required. Do I have another bucket in here already that we could look at? My search isn't working well here because I got the window too small. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, no worries. Oh, look at this. We've got a bucket in here already with nothing in it. Let's do a little cleanup since we're here. These are our templates. Let's delete this too. I don't think we need it. Oh, it's not empty. What's in here? Whoops. So we'll do the old empty bucket thing. Who actually types these? Type permanently delete. How about copy it? And then, I keep clicking too fast because the buckets aren't loading. There we go. Patience. Delete it now. Let's do this. AWS S3 bucket policy require SSL. This is what we're after. Okay. And they have the ARN defined. There's the condition. So what we're going to do is we're going to say condition boolean AWS I'm not quite sure if we have the format quite right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we'll throw it into a handy converter here. Not the one I was expecting. I'm kind of used to one and now it's not showing here for some reason. Okay, well. JSON data. Okay, there we go. Wow, I don't like this at all. Isn't it amazing how you get used to certain things and then... Hang on a second. There. there we go. I don't think we need the single quotes around these, so we'll leave it. I think I got that right. Okay. And what we're going to do here is we're going to add in our resources so you can see what we've got. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do sub and then we'll do $. We can just do bucket 0. And I'll double check that to make sure that I've got it correct. And then we want to do the same thing. /*. I just want to see what this returns. I want to say that the return value, when we just refer to that, is the bucket name, which should work. Returns the bucket name. Okay, so we're good there. That should work. So that's that. So I think that's all we want. And then I want to get here. So I want to say S3, what do we call it? Bucket 0, I think, yeah. All right, there we go. What else can we output here? We can get the ARN of the bucket, the domain name. We're not going to need any of this. Maybe the ARN, so let's do this. Bucket 0 ARN. And this, we need a get attribute call. So we say bucket 0 ARN. And then I'm just going to use the same thing here. And we'll change it from name to ARN. Okay, so that should create the bucket that we need. So let's go up here. We're starting to get the quite the collection of stuff, aren't we? Let's cut and paste here. And then it doesn't really, well, we need the key. Let's put it here. I'm just going to cut and paste again. And we do need to pass in. I got too many things open here. Let me close these down. What do we need to pass in? So what I'm looking for here are parameter values, parameters without default values. We've got defaults. We need the project, which we've already got. Expiration in days. And remember, you can make this like whatever you want, really, but we're just going to do 30 days to keep it short. And then we need prefix. So I can't remember what I said now. We want to expire logs. So we'll do this. Now, I don't know, does it actually need the slash or what? Doesn't say. Let's try it and see what it does. Let's do that. And then we need what else? KMS stack. And that is just this, which we'll cut and paste again. What was the last one? KMS stack. All right, that's pretty good. And then we need a new deploy statement up here. All right, let's see what happens. Man, it's only Tuesday, 7:30, and I'm exhausted. Is it Tuesday today? It's Tuesday today, right? I think it's Tuesday. All right, let's go here. So here's our S3 bucket. Change set. So we should see the bucket and the policy. Everything's new, so let's execute it. Tuesday, only Tuesday. Yeah, it's a long weekend here at least. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. So we get Monday off. So that'll be okay. Don't mind that. Look at unsupported property bucket key enable. Imagine that. What did it? Bucket key enabled, I think is what it's supposed to be. Bucket key enabled. There we go. Our first typo of the day. Today, Tuesday is the most productive day of the week. You know, I don't know. I was pretty productive today, actually. You know what I find is killer? If I get up, so I usually get up pretty early. Like I'm usually up by, well, pretty early for my standards is like 7 o'clock. I'm sure that people would think that's late, but for me it's early. So if I get up at 7 and do one of two things, watch sports highlights or start answering email immediately is the first thing I do, I can tell you that my productivity for the day is, it feels crappy all day. But instead, if I kind of prep what, like, couple important tasks and I'm ready to do those first thing in the morning, I find that sets me up really good for the rest of the day. And I did that today. It worked really well. And but I do find I run out of gas by about 3 o'clock. I really kind of start struggling at that point and need to take a break. And but if I answer email or anything like that first thing, just it cooks me. I don't know why. It's weird. All right, let's delete this. Who knew the stream would turn into productivity tips? All right, let's do this. S3 is right at the top, so it should come up, should come to life here pretty quickly. You know, another thing that we should get ready is we should fire up that EC2 instance again. I would have blown it up after the stream last time. Let's see. Yeah, we don't have anything, but we do have, we should have an AMI. All right, so let's launch an instance from this AMI. And we'll stick with the T4Gs again. Use the Graviton processors. Oh, look at that. There's another demo environment in here too, which we should blow up. Private, use our standard role. What is this? Look at that. Huh. Look at that, you can mount it. Look at that, additional security groups. Automatically create attached security groups. Ooh. Yeah, we'll make sure we continue to do this programmatically. We do want to make sure it's only version 2. The token, I don't know what just happened there. Say next. We added this, remember, as a, I'm gonna make the screen a little bigger. We added the additional volume as the logging device, or the log directory, so we'll leave that, and we're gonna make sure we're using the right key. All right, add tags. So we'll just call this WP-AMI again. As we'll get this running, right? And we want to use, I think it's just this one. No, that's not it. Interface endpoint. I think it's this one, yeah. I don't think we have any other special key. My mouse is acting on. Let me just plug it in here. Sometimes I notice if the battery starts getting low, the trackpad gets a little odd. All right, so that's our machine coming to life. Hopefully we got it right this time. Oh, fuck. Look at all the spelling mistakes, man. Ay, ay, ay. TH. I can type relatively fast, but obviously not accurate at all. All right, so we'll get that. What else do we have on our to-do list? So this is in progress. I think EFS is done. I remember we put the policy on it, and that fixed our problem, but we'll double check that in a minute. I'm going to hold off doing the database because that'll take a little while. Maybe what we could do is we could get the load balancer set up, because we could set the logging for that as well now, if this S3 bucket would deploy for us. And we can test that out. And that would also let us set up a target group and all that kind of good stuff. So let's do that. I switched that, did I not? Is there another spelling mistake in there? Algo rhythm. I don't know what I did there. Yeah. Delete again. All right. So let's jump over here. Our EC2 instance should be alive at this point. And I definitely don't remember the command to mount this EFS volume. make this. Okay, there we go. And we then should be able to do something like, if this is, I think I have a domain in here that I want to use. We looked this up last time, but I don't remember now. I think it's just Acme Widgets. Yeah, Acme Widgets. So what we'll do is we'll say, I switched my keyboard layout again, which was a bad idea. So let's just type this. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say all right, perfect. So that's that. What we could also do, we kind of need a database for WordPress, but what we could create is, that's not going to work because I didn't do it as root. We'll just create a placeholder here, because what I'm thinking is if we get the load balancer set up, we could at least make sure this works. Oh, I'm making this up in caps. I literally have to look at the keyboard each time I try to hit that closed caret. If I don't, I hit the wrong key every time. Got a lot of muscle memory there. And we're missing the entire screen now. That's not what I wanted to do. Give me 1 second here. Oh, maybe it'll log me back in. Remember what I was saying about remapping my keyboard? You shouldn't do that before you try to do something. I love the keyboard, but almost too much possible customization on it. Let's try this again. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. Probably be easier to do over here, and then when I screw it up, I don't have to type it all in VI. I got to remember that. There we go. there we go. That was way easier than VI. So let's do this. Much, much better. Now, let's hope I get the right keystroke this time. I did it again. Look at that. I had a 50-50 shot. I picked wrong. Hence why we put it in the editor instead. Jesus. Maybe I should start doing these like through the day so I'm maybe a little less tired. Wonder what that, let's look at that NFS thing. I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's creating a couple of them. Devices room. That's weird. I don't know what that is. I've never noticed those before. I don't know what those are. Okay, let's try this one more time. This is supposed to be easier. There we go. All right. Third time's a charm. What do you say? The 50-50-90 rule. When you have a 50% chance of picking something, there's a 90% chance you would pick wrong. Oh my God. Yeah, you're totally right. I'm directionally challenged in the car. It's hilarious. We're out driving or something like that. I'm trying to figure out where we're going. And if I'm not looking at the GPS or whatever, and you got like, come to a T intersection or something, invariably, if I say I think we should go left, we should go right. So my wife will laugh at me. She's like, okay, since you said left, then make the right-hand turn and you'll be going in the right direction. Okay, so we've got that. Okay. Perfect. Now, let's go back here. No, we got logged out everywhere now, didn't we? Yeah, go formation. I can't remember if we stood the S3 bucket up or not. Ah, we didn't. Let's see if this works now. Okay, it didn't error out immediately, so that's a good sign. All right, so let's let that run. Now, since we have this, in theory, if we were to get Apache running, okay, it's not running right now. Here's another one of those 50-50 shots, right? Okay, there we go. And I thought we ran the enable command last time, so it started automatically. But obviously not. So let's do this. Okay, so that's running now. For the time being, what I want to do is this is part of what I want to move to the S3 bucket, and we'll grab this on boot. But for now, what I want to do is just edit this so that the actual web server's running. Because what we'll do is we'll get the load balancer up in front of it, and that'll test the load balancer. And I picked right, so we've got the right paths in here. So in theory, this should work. So we'll just leave this alone for now. And then, okay, that works. So here, I'll show you what I'm thinking we'll do. Within this S3 bucket, we'll put this into our pipeline at some point. But if we find that bucket, here it is. I'm thinking we have two folders. And what did I say over here? So /logs. Okay. Oops, yeah, okay. There we go. It says that right underneath where I typed. And then the other one is the configuration files for Apache. Okay. Actually, you know what? We might actually have a few different config files. So why don't we do this? We'll go in here and we'll say and then we'll say no, sorry, it's not really a config file, is it? I was thinking like we might put that index file in there just as a simple way to test the boot. So what do we have? Let's go back up here. Well, let's do this. We'll just go like this. Okay. And then what we should see in here, now that this is running, we have default encryption enabled with the key that we're using for all the WordPress stuff. This is something that I put in our to-do list. Maybe we'll go back and have a look at that. Well, the rest of this is all standard. And if we go under permissions, blocking all public access. So if you're not familiar, you can block this at the account level now right here. And you can see we have it enabled. So basically any bucket we create, it'll force or protect against public access. But I do like to put it in the script still in the templates just in case. So we got that, and here's the bucket policy. So this is the policy that says deny all activity against this S3 bucket or against the bucket and objects within the bucket if we don't have some sort of secure transport in place. So that's that. And then, oh, we've got one other thing, management. Here's our life cycle rule. After 30 days, we are going to basically expire any objects in the logs prefix. So under here, like we could have logs/ALB, logs/ I don't know, anything that we wanted to push in here from different services, and they'd all be governed by this one rule, which we should probably change. I didn't realize the name was, or I thought the ID was just an identifier, not what it was going to call it. Let's go back here. Yeah, we can change this. So let's go back here. And we'll just call this, okay. Can't be longer than 200. I don't know if it's going to like the dash, so let's do that instead. I'm going to give this channel like one more chance here, and if they play another Bon Jovi or Def Leppard song, we're going to find another channel to listen to. Here we go. I don't know if you're listening or not, but this is a good one. Asia, Heat of the Moment. Used to be able to play this on my guitar. Classic rock song. So what we should see here is modifying the bucket. Yeah, no replacement, so that's good. We'll go ahead and execute. Oops, I'm gonna go here. Okay, so that's gonna run. Let's go look at now the application load balancer. It's this one right here. And you can see we're going to have a bunch of things to create. So it starts with the load balancer. Close these. Oh, we can say this is done now because we fixed the mounting issue. That's good. This is done. We're going to skip this one for now, and then we'll say we'll work on this now. You know, I'm going to do this too. So we'll put our configuration files for the Apache server in here when we're ready. And then this is, we'll put into our pipeline, we'll put an S3 sync command in there to dump these files into that S3 bucket where we want them. And then that way, anytime a machine boots, they'll get the latest configs. Okay, that's my idea at least. In theory, it sounds logical. So we'll do what we always do and just grab those as our starting point. And we'll leave the project and the rest of this can go for now. All right, so here's what we want. The first thing is the definition for the load balancer. Okay. What do you think the odds are that I spelt that wrong? I'd say as close to 100 as you can get. So we'll leave this in the default. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Load balancer attributes. We will set these. There's a bunch of things that we want to do here. And I can't remember the structure of this. Okay, so it's dash, whoops. And we'll use the handy placeholder for the time being. Like we always do, we'll let CloudFormation name it. The scheme here, we'll make this flexible. It can basically be one of two, internet or basically I call it public or private. So public is an internet facing load balancer. And then you can also deploy load balancers within the VPC. So let's say we had like a 3-tier application where you've got load balancer, app tier, and then database. What you don't want is you don't want the web servers talking directly to the load balancer, to the application tier. So in that case, we'd put an internal load balancer that sits between the web servers and the app servers. And then that way we can scale those two layers independently from each other. And basically the web servers would talk to the load balancer, the internal load balancer, and that would be responsible for redirecting the traffic. Okay, so we're just going to do this. And it is a string, and we're going to say, no, sorry, I don't want internal. I want internet facing. And then this is internal and internet facing. Okay. The reason we do this is one of the things that I don't know if we always do a great job on the live stream like this, but if we're building templates for like a project we're working on, whether it's something that we're doing internally or for a customer, we're going to try to make the templates as flexible as possible, because I don't necessarily want to have to basically build custom templates for everything. Okay, so that's the scheme. That's an easy one. We've already defined our security groups. Remember, we created the general list of security groups, so we'll refer to that one in a minute. Subnet mappings. See, this is conditional. I always forget which one we need. I want to say that we do. You must specify subnets or subnet mappings. I think we're just going to use subnets. You must specify subnets from at least 2 availability zones. Really, what's the difference here? Do they give us an example? They don't. Allocation ID. We only need that for a network load balancer, only for a network. Only for network, and then a subnet ID. And if we look at this, this is just going to be a list of strings. So if you go up here, yeah, we're going to use subnets. No sense in putting all that extra stuff in there. And we're going to need the 2 public subnets here. Whoops. And we're going to do the same. I don't know why that is. doing that? Kevin, are you going to watch any of the playoff baseball? I know the Yankees and Red Sox are playing tonight. It's 8 o'clock. Let's see. I think I'm going to cheer for the Yankees. Oh, it's still in the warm-up. I'm going to cheer for the Yankees since the Jays are out. I always like tags to be at the end, so what is type? I think this is, yeah, right here. So we're going to go type is ref type. So again, making this flexible, we'll make the default the application load balancer, and then we'll just say it can be if you wanted to. Yankees are going to win tonight. See, this is a tough one for me because, you know, with the Jays losing to both Boston and the Yankees by, what, 1 game? I'm obviously not a... oh, you paid for. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you want to get your money's worth. So I don't really have... I don't like either of these teams. I was talking to my mom earlier tonight. She's getting ready for baseball. Yeah, MLB TV. Yeah, I've got it too. Might as well get the value out of it, right? I was talking to my mom, and she's like, okay, who are you cheering for? And, oh, one sec. And, excuse me. She actually made me change my mind because her extremely scientific decision-making was she doesn't like the manager from the Red Sox. I think it's Alex Cora, right? And I asked her why, and she's like, oh, I don't know. I just don't like him. So I'm going to cheer for the Yankees. That was her her technical sort of decision-making on who she was going to cheer for. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I think I like the Red Sox even less than the Yankees, so I'm going to go Yankees as well. We'll see how it goes. That's how I'd pick, like, if I was ever in a pool for soccer or something. I'm not like, I watch highlights and stuff, but I don't know the teams, so I would just basically pick on cool jerseys or something like that, and then everybody would be really pissed when I won. All right, tags again. We'll just borrow from over here. There are two. Well, actually, they jammed "Welcome to the Jungle" or whatever, some Guns N' Roses in between. But now we got some Rush, which is always good too. All right, so for this and this, we're going to refer to some stacks that we already have. So we're going to say SG stack. All right, and we're going to say VPC stack. Okay, and then we're going to use that same import command that we used over here for both of these. So we'll start with the security groups. And we'll say SG stack, and we just need to grab that out of here. So we should have the outputs, and we want this one. So this is going to allow, if I remember what we did, port 80 and port 443 from the outside world, and we're going to set up a redirect on the load balancer so that everybody's using 443. So we'll do that. And then we need the VPC template, and in this case we need the 2 public subnets because this is a, well, public facing or internet facing load balancer. So we're going to go back. Oh, I did that backwards. Hold on. Let me do this and grab this. And this is going to be VPC stack. So that takes care of those. We'll pass that information in. Now there's a bunch of config that we can do for the load balancer. So let's go back and have a look at the attributes that we can set. And these are all, there's a list here, right? So you can see the key value can be these, and then we put whatever we want. So we're going to start with this. And again, if I was building this for one of our projects, I would probably make some of these a little dynamic. But generally, I would say if it's a, like I might put an if statement in here. We might do something like, you know, condition if prod, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then we would set this to deletion protection enabled as true if it's in production, and false if it's not in production. But not to get too crazy here, we're going to do it like that. Okay. The other thing that we want to do is we want to enable access logging. So we're going to grab this. And we're going to set that to true. And then if that's true, where are we going to log to? Oops. Joan Jett. And then we need this. And again, we'll hard code this for now. Remember that we had logs. And actually, we're going to go a step further, and we're going to say logs ALB. Okay. And then this, we should be able to get this dynamically, and we should say S3 stack. And what's it asking for here? The name of the bucket. And then we just did bucket name. Close that, close that. All right, there we go. Now we've got some application specific, ALB specific things. So timeout in seconds. We'll leave the default to 60. Determines how the load balancer handles requests that might pose a security risk to your application. Possible values are monitor, defensive, and strictest. We'll leave defensive, that's the default. Drop invalid headers. Let's enable this one. So if we, again, we get something that's doesn't look right, we can just drop it. And we're going to set that to true. Invalid header fields are removed by the load balancer, true, or routed to targets, false. Okay, so we're going to do that. I don't know enough about cipher suites and stuff. The default is false. Again, this is exported header should preserve the source port. It's false. Default is true. Oh, here's another thing that we could maybe do. I don't know if we've got this in our to-do list already or not. This we can't do. Remember this one from the other week, right? Not possible. We were going to use inspector. Not available. Not in CA Central. Okay. This we've actually sort of done already, so we'll take it off of there. I was thinking WAF here maybe. I don't know if we have this in our list somewhere already. Doesn't look like it. So yeah, maybe we could put the WAF in front of this as well if we wanted. And then these are for network load balancers only. So I think we've got everything that we needed here. Now, when this is set up, you have to modify the bucket policy again. to give the load balancer service enough access to write to the bucket. Because remember, everything in AWS is deny by default, right? So let's just do this. AWS ALB S3 logging. I think they give us an example here somewhere. Maybe? Here we go. So this is what we need. I'm really missing the... This is the one I think I like. If it loads. I guess not. This will do. Hey, look at this. It's got a CloudFormation example. This is what we're after. Okay, so this is what we're going to set up. So for the time being, we'll leave that one. We'll go back over here, and we need to add another bucket policy, or another statement, sorry, to our bucket policy. So we want to say effect is allow. And actually, I'm just going to do this, and we'll make the changes. That way I don't have to type all this, because we know what happens when I type too much. This here, so this is coming, if you look in the docs here, there are specific account IDs that you have to use here. So this would be the account ID of the load balancer in the region that we're using. And we're using CA Central 1. So that's what we need to put in right here. Okay. This might be an interesting... So what I've done now is I've hard-coded something, and that means that if I tried to run this anywhere else, it would fail, right? I wonder, like we could do this, and we could do, we could call this ALB region map, and then it's going to take a little effort. We won't put all these in here for now, but we could do just do this. US East 1. What did they do? Sorry, I keep forgetting. We could just do account ID. Right? And then we could do this. We'll only put a couple in here for now just to kind of show how this would work. And we grab this one. And then down here, instead of hard coding this, we could use another function in CloudFormation called find in map. So this is a built-in intrinsic function. And we could do this. So we're going to actually have to put a couple things together because we're going to have to construct this, right? So let's do this. I'm just going to create another line, and we're going to say join. And then trying to remember the structure of the join command. I think it's like this. So we're going to join these together. And what we're going to do is we're just going to say there's no delimiter, right, in the join command. And then we need to put another square bracket in. And we can grab all of this. And go like that, comma. Okay, and we'll do this. Okay, and then we can just go over here and go root. Okay, so that's this piece here. And then what we want to do is in here, we want to use the find in map command. So we're going to do this. So the first thing is we need our map name, which is this. And then we need our top level key, which is our region. So now we're going to go ref, and we're going to use a pseudo parameter here and say, I think it's just this. I'll double check that one. I think you have to put it in quotes. We'll check. And then our second level key is just whatever we named it. In this case, we've got it hard-coded, which is just account ID, right? Like that. So let's check this. Should be right in here somewhere. Pseudo parameters. Yeah, see how they've got it in quotes? So we'll just do this. Okay. So what we're doing is we're using a couple intrinsic functions here. Let's get rid of that one. We don't need it anymore. So we're using the join command to basically squish all these together, concatenate them. And then in the middle, we're using the find in map command to go up and grab dynamically the account ID. So if this works, that means that we could go up here and just add in the other regions, and then we've got basically all the account IDs, and we don't have to hard code anything, and we could, in theory, run this anywhere. Okay, but we'll just keep it simple with the 2 for now. All right, and then we're gonna have to do something similar here. So I'm gonna change this to a sub command. And here, how do we get the bucket name? The bucket name we have in our, as an output coming from the S3 template. I think we could almost, I'm going to do the same thing again, and I'm just going to create this as a duplicate line. Oops, maybe not. Try that again. Just so that I have the structure of it. And I think instead we're going to do join. I don't know if these are going to work. I'm just testing this out. And then we can do the same thing again here. All right, let's delete these as we go. I need that in quotes. Now we need to get the bucket name, so that's a to-do item. We'll come back to that one. Then we need our prefix. Maybe I better do this. To-do, we'll just do name. Prefix. So that takes care of those. Comma, AWS Logs. I know it doesn't look pretty. We better put the slash there. And then we need the account ID. That's an easy one. So we can just do this. We can again use ref, because this is our own account ID. Right? And then it's just slash star at the end. Like that. So let's get rid of those. And then what I need to figure out is how to pull in the bucket name and the prefix from, well, the prefix is something that's not easy to pull in. We've put that here. So we can just do, this can just be ref prefix, oops, like that. It's just this one. So let's have a look at We want to use the import value. See, they've got the sub. See how they're using sub here? Here you go. You can't use a short form of import value when it contains a sub. So you can see they're using the full value here. I think I'm just going to try this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here and we're just going to grab that. It's exactly what we need. And we're going to jam that in here. I'm sure there's maybe a better way to do this, but now we're generating this all dynamically as well. We'll get rid of that. Okay, this can stay the same because that's the service in Amazon that's going to deliver the logs for us, so we don't have to change that. And in this case, this is the same thing, the bucket name again, or the ARN of the bucket. Am I making this way harder than it needs to be? I think I am. Hold on. Because coming out of yeah, shit, I'm making this way harder. I'm getting confused. I thought we were in the ALB template. Yeah, that's dumb. Hold on. Let's do this again. We can get the bucket name from right here because it's in this command. So we could do this. That was a lot of effort for nothing. Bucket 0. That'll give us the name. And then here we can go prefix. Again, that's just importing the value from the parameter. Oops. AWS Logs. I think you need to have that there. I don't know. And then here we can just do, what was that again? Account ID, right? That's way cleaner if it works. Way cleaner. Look at that line compared to this craziness. So let's get rid of that. It's amazing how sometimes your brain does that, eh? Let's make this way more complicated than it needs to be. And then this needs to be brought in here. And then we should be able to take this and use the exact same thing down here. And then this is the other thing that won't change. We can do this, but we just need the bucket name in this case. So we can take all this off. I don't know what the likelihood of this working is on the first run. So this, let me put a couple things in here. This is SSL must be used to just so we can kind of keep this straight. And then these next statements are for required like, I'm not sure if we need this or not, but in the docs you noticed here you've got the optional things. I wonder if we could probably tighten this up a little bit more, but let's see if it runs first. I'm not going to put the load balancer. Am I going to push my luck? See this here? I've got logs ALB, so that means then over here, I think I should just leave this like that. Let's push our luck and see what happens. So we'll go back over to our GitLab and we can add a new statement in here. Simple validation of our template. And we'll just cut and paste again. Whoa. I don't know if I copied a bunch of things there. I don't know what happened. Doesn't look like it. Space here. Yeah, I think it's okay. Okay, so we'll say ALB, ALB. All right, so let's just go through this template and see what we passed in. Has a value, has a value, has a value. Project we've already set, and that should be in here already. Yeah, project equals project. Okay, that's fine. Got a default, got a default. So we need SG stack, VPC stack, and S3 stack. We've got those already. We need this. All right. Need to change this guy. VPC, SG. Okay. No risk, no reward. I like it. What is it? What's the other one? Fortune favors the bold. Again, I think the chances of this working are about as good as Boston beating the Yankees tonight, right? Since you've got money riding on it. VPC, SG, S3 project. Let's see what happens here. We do have to be careful when this, in theory, if it works, we've got to remember that we need to do the S3, we have to execute the change set on the S3 bucket first, because otherwise the load balancer won't have access to the S3 bucket, right? Oh, I know what this is. I was thinking about this. I always forget the stage. This is actually CI. I should really just work from the top of this to the bottom and add the new stage and then go through, and that way I won't forget, but I always do the same thing. Oh, sorry, I'm screwing with my my camera. I'm just realizing that my head's cut off. Ah. There we go. My head's not cut off now. So I've probably got a spelling mistake. Okay, here we go. Invalid property or properties mapping. What did I spell wrong there? Oh, you know what I... No, okay, no, that's right. Is it mappings? I think it's mappings, plural. Mappings. Yeah, okay. All right, made it through the validation. This one's going to take a little longer because it's the last thing to run. while we're waiting. 8:32. I don't know what time does that game start? I would have 8:07 start? Oh. Yeah, okay. Avert your eyes, Kevin. Don't look. Lots of baseball still to be played. Is it me, or is Garrett Cole not looked as good as he did with the Astros? I don't know. I noticed the last couple times the Jays played him at the end of the season there were a few times where I thought he didn't look as good. Okay, so this is the S3 bucket. Remember, this is a policy change. So not replacing the policy, just modifying it. So let's execute this first, because we can't do the other one without this. Make this a little bigger since we're going to hopefully work here for a bit. Hey, look at that. First time's a charm. So if we go now and look at the S3 bucket, yeah, he didn't consistency's, I think, the right way to say it. He just doesn't seem like himself. So there's our deny statement. And then down here, we've got the dynamically constructed region ID here from, remember, that's the ALB region. We got a problem here, though. See that? Got a double slash. So we'll fix that. The rest of it looks okay. So let's have a quick look at that. Prefix. So I must have in the prefix, I must have a slash being passed in. Yeah, I do. So let's go like that. I think I'll let this one run through. Was he a pirate? I didn't even know that. If you are new to the channel, I see a few people lingering around. Hi. And this is normally what happens. There, look at that. 22. 10 and 7, 11 and 19 and 8. Wow, look at that ERA. 208 innings, 200 strikeouts. What happened here? Next year. Then he went to Houston. Yeah, no comment. Did he get hurt? 21 games, so innings pitched is almost half. He must have been hurt, eh? What happened there? We won't dredge up too many memories for our pirate fan here. So when you hang out in the Tuesday night CloudFormation channel, we talk about beekeeping, we talk about baseball. What was the other thing we were talking about? We were also talking about productivity tips. We have a wide range of topics we like to cover. Elbow, okay. Tommy John or something maybe, eh? Okay, so let's check this again. We'll refresh this. Yeah, that looks better now. Okay. I guess we could do logs/ALB, because then you could have, like, you know, specific locations. I don't know. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but let's try this. So we've got that one done. Let's go back over here, and this is the tricky one. Right, adding a new load balancer. Let's see what happens. Property contains duplicate values. Oh. We got to remember with a load balancer, it's a regional service, and it's meant to evenly distribute traffic across multiple unique availability zones within a single region. So when we pass those two values in and they're the same, that's not going to work. So let's delete this. Okay. That's going to take a little bit of time again. I just want the box score. How do I get the box score? There we go. Bogarts, 2 RBIs. Must hit home run. Yeah, look at that. All right. I always get excited when it doesn't fail instantaneously. This one might be one of those ones though that is actually failing and we just don't know it yet because there's a policy issue with the S3 bucket. I find sometimes when you mess those policies up, it'll try and it basically has to time out. There's our load balancer. Internet facing. There's our 2 VPCs. Security groups. Here's our attributes down here. It says disabled still, so it hasn't made it that far or it's failing somewhere. This might take a minute. All right, well, let's let that go for a bit. See what else we got here. Is there anything else we can work on? We've done a bunch of this. Create CFN template for Cloudwatch Logs, air access. Oh yeah, remember we talked about this last week when you let we have the unified Cloudwatch log agent running on our EC2 instance. Let's go have a look and see if it works, because last week we didn't see any logs. And the problem with this is that the log groups, here they are. 10:05, that's today, right? Yeah, so there we go. The problem is that you'll notice, oh, I clicked the same one, didn't I? Go back here and say system. So these are our system logs. There we go. The problem with this though is that the two log groups that we've created, WP air, we should have WP access as well, but obviously nothing's hitting the web server. You'll see here that they never expire. And they also, if we click on this, they're not encrypted. So what we could do I was thinking about, we create these Cloudwatch log groups through CloudFormation, because CloudFormation supports retention setting and the KMS key ID now as well. Yeah, maybe we can have a look at that. Let's see what this is doing. Yeah, see that? So we've got something wrong. So the load balancer can't talk to that bucket. These are always a bit of a pain in the ass to fix too. So let's go back over here and let's just check to make sure this looks like what we've got in the actual S3 bucket policy. Oh, we got a typo, which isn't unsurprising. So the ARN is this case, remember this is the account ID associated with the load balancer service. So let's just scroll down and make sure we've got that right. So it should be 985. So if we go over here, back to S3. So I'm going to look for like a missing colon or something like that. So that looks good, right? 985 ends in 251. Okay, that looks good. And then let's just make sure this looks correct. So it should have bucket name, prefix, bucket name, prefix, AWS logs, then account ID /star. And that's this first one, put object. Yeah, looks right to me. And remember, this is the account where we're actually running the bucket, or sorry, the ALB service. So this is saying allow the service in this account to talk to this bucket in this particular prefix. And these are exactly the same, right? And then here, oops. We maybe have a typo on that last one. Nope, just ends in bucket name. And that's, yeah. Whew. That's going to be a bit of an interesting one. That might take a little bit of troubleshooting to figure out. It looks simple enough, right? Let's just check to make sure. Yeah, so here we've got logs. Let's just go have a quick look at this again. Does it say anything about the structure of this? It just says the prefix. All right, hang on a second. I've got a little cheat sheet here. Give me one sec. Gotta fix this. There we go. The old Minecraft background. Let me just have a quick look here in another pipeline. Check something quickly. I did something like this for a customer the other day, and I'm just wondering if I've got the prefix set properly in there. See if I can quickly find this. Yeah, okay. So we've got it the same there, and then let me just check the check the S3 setup here. Make sure we've got that done the same way. Yeah, it looks exactly the same. I'm just going to cut and paste this line, and we're just going to double check a couple things. So I wonder if it's the way that we have. Let's go back to S3. So that's the example from the other work that I was doing. Let me get back into our demo project here so I can share the screen again. All right, so this is the one that I copied. You can see we did it a little different. I actually did the join command, but I think in that case we're dealing with multiple multiple templates. So I think that's why we did that. If I just start slicing this up, I just want to see how it lines up. So we've got the bucket, right? Prefix in our case is logs. I don't think I screwed that up anywhere. So logs. So that's this. AWS logs. And then account ID. And we've got /star at the end. Yeah, I think I might have to fiddle around with that one a bit and see if I can figure out what I've got wrong. It's going to be something stupid. Yeah, it looks right. That's an interesting one. I think what we'll do, let's have a quick look at. Let's close that down. See what's involved in creating these. See, these are pretty simple. So let's do this. We got about, normally I go to about 10 o'clock or 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So let's do this. Cloudwatch Logs dot YAML. And as always, we'll grab this to start. Okay. So what I'm thinking is, if we go and look at what we've got here, we just put it like this. So I think we might change this structure a little bit and kind of follow what AWS does for some of these. And we'll go see what we got to get here. Let's close that. Sorry, got my windows all messed up at this point. There we go. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to create 3 log groups. One for Apache Access Logs, one for Apache Air Logs, and then we'll create one for System Logs. Get all that up in AWS. Okay, so we'll just do this, log group 0. And let's start here with WP, actually let's do Apache Air Logs. So we're going to need that. I'm just going to put this in for now. So what I'm thinking is we do this. WP, that's our project basically. So we could probably get fancier here, but let's do this. Air log for now. And then retention in days is going to be ref retention in days. So this we don't need. We can just, oh, we've already got the, we'll change that to, whoops. Okay, so that'll take care of that. Now what did we call our project? If we go back over here. WordPress Twitch. Okay, so we could maybe do something like this. We could do join statement again. And in this case, we want backslash as our delimiter. Okay. I keep hitting the wrong one. And then I'm going to do ref right? And then we'll say, so if I'm reading this right, it should come back as WordPress-Twitch/airlog. And we'll just do, right? And then we need okay. And then we need our favorite command again, which we should have all over the place. We need this. Our import value intrinsic function, and we're just going to go KMS stack, and they're saying KMS key ID. It says ARN here. Okay, so we can do, I think it's just KMS -arn, but let's check. Oh, key arn. So we can do that. Okay. Now, what does this provide us with outputs? This just returns a resource name. This returns the ARN for the resource. I don't even know if we really... Do we really care about any of these? I don't think we do, really. Let's leave the outputs off for now. I don't think we're going to need them anywhere. And then we'll go here, and we can deploy this really early, basically after here. So we'll do CWL deploy. Doesn't really matter where we run. Whoops. Make this a little bigger. Where we run the validation command. So we'll just dump it here at the end. And then to keep it kind of straight, we'll put it right here. And in this case, we need that, and we need KMS stack equals like that. Let's give this a whirl. think our playlist ran out. It didn't, but it's not playing anything. Let's go to the next song. We're going to skip that. We're going to skip that. No, this one's all right. Ah, what do we got wrong here? Oh, retention in days. Oops. I didn't pass that in, did I? And we'll make this like 5. Doesn't really matter. Let's just check to make sure there's not anything else in there. That, and that. Those are all set now. Okay. Where are they playing? So if the Yankees are up first, they're playing in Boston. Okay. Okay, I think we got it this time. So let's go back over here. I might as well delete this. And we'll run this one through. Ah, man. Dash key yarn. What did I do wrong? No, I got a single dash. There it is right there. Dash key dash ARN. Dash key dash ARN. Ah, look what I did. I put this here, but I didn't actually pass a value in for it. I'm surprised that actually even worked. So this is just going to be this one. Normally it'll throw an error about like needing a value or something like that. Okay, that's from our previous deploy. Might as well delete that. We don't need it right now. And I guess while we're waiting, oh, I thought I had that in here somewhere. Maybe not. Oh yeah, right here. Go back over here. Not our night with the CloudFormation templates tonight. Look at that. Oh, we need to modify the key policy. So if you're not familiar, right? Remember we talked about resource policies already. We talked about a resource policy for S3, a bucket policy, basically. So KMS is a service that supports resource policies. That's referred to as a key policy. So you saw in S3, we really don't need a bucket policy, right? It's optional in most cases. But in the case of KMS, you do need a key policy, otherwise it won't work. And in this case, we've tied the key policy to specific things, and it doesn't have, right now, you can see right here, this is what we need to add. So I'll tell you what, I think we're gonna call it, but I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put a little note here so that next week I remember what we need to do. Okay. So yeah, thanks as always, folks. Kevin, I hope the Yankees come back here and take out the Red Sox. Let's see who else is broadcasting tonight. Give me a second. Giorgio. Well, let's go see our buddy Giorgio again. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Stay safe.